We live in a world that is addicted to the light, we are told. From the moment we wake up until we close our eyes, that happiness is the only valid destination. We are bombarded with messages of forced positivity, good vibes only, smile through the pain, stay positive. We treat sadness like a technical malfunction, a glitch in the human operating system that needs to be patched or bypassed as quickly as possible. But there is a profound cost to this constant pursuit of the sun. A heart that never experiences rain eventually becomes a desert. The shadow explorer understands that sadness is not a sign of failure. It is a vital, creative force. It is the productive sadness that prepares the soil of the soul for a deeper kind of wisdom. Consider the story of a man named Silas. Silas was a master of discipline. He was a successful architect who lived by the clock and the compass. He believed that any emotion that didn't lead to immediate productivity was a waste of time. When Silas experienced a profound personal loss, the passing of his primary mentor, he did what he always did. He doubled down on his work. He forced himself to be the strong one, the one who never flinched. He used his work as a shield against the rising tide of melancholy. But the more he tried to outrun his sadness, the more hollow he felt. His designs lost their soul. His relationships became brittle. He was a man standing in a drought of his own making, terrified that if he let one tear fall, he would be swept away by a flood. Exhausted by the weight of his own armor, Silas sought out an old gardener who lived in a quiet valley known for its heavy mist and frequent rain. Silas complained that he felt heavy and slow, unable to find the light of his former motivation. The gardener didn't offer him a motivational speech. Instead, he led Silas to a section of the garden that was currently under a heavy downpour. "Look at the earth," the gardener said. "If the sun shone every day, the soil would turn to stone. Nothing could take root. The rain isn't an attack on the garden. It is a softening. Sadness is the rain of the soul. It softens the hard edges of the ego so that something new can grow. This is the art of productive sadness. It is the realization that sadness has a function. It is a biological and spiritual slow-down signal. When we are sad, our energy withdraws from the external world and moves inward. This is the moment of silence. In this silence, we are forced to reevaluate our values, our connections, and our direction. Destructive sadness is when we drown in the past. Productive sadness is when we use the vulnerability of the moment to become more honest with ourselves. Silas began to practice the discipline of being sad. This sounds counterintuitive in a culture of doing. He stopped trying to fix his mood and instead practiced Zen acceptance. He allowed himself to sit with the heavy, gray feeling of loss without trying to distract himself. He stopped the facade of being okay in this state of letting go. Silas made a startling discovery. His sadness wasn't trying to destroy him. It was trying to cleanse him. It was washing away the shallow ambitions and the rigid expectations that had made his life feel like a prison. This is where Stoicism meets the shadow. We cannot control the weather of our emotions. Sadness will come, just as the clouds will gather. But we have absolute sovereignty over how we inhabit that weather. You can choose to be a victim of the rain, or you can choose to be the gardener who knows the rain is necessary. By leaning into his sadness, Silas developed a new kind of resilience. It wasn't the hard resilience of stone, but the fluid resilience of water. He realized that his capacity for deep sadness was exactly the same as his capacity for deep joy. They are two sides of the same coin of integrity. As Silas integrated his sadness, his work changed. His architectural designs began to reflect a new depth and empathy. He started to create spaces that weren't just functional, but healing. He understood that people don't just need shelter from the wind. They need places that honor the complexity of the human experience. He became a person of substance because he was no longer afraid of his own depths. If you are feeling the weight of sadness today, do not rush to solve it. Do not feel guilty because you aren't productive in the traditional sense. You are doing the most important work of all. You are mellowing. You are allowing the rain to soften the parched ground of your heart. Trust the silence. Trust the process of the alchemy that is happening within you. The light that follows a period of productive sadness is different from the light that comes before. It is a refined light. It is the light of someone who has seen the shadows and is no longer afraid of them. You need the rain to see the rainbow. Yes, but more importantly, you need the rain to become the kind of person who is strong enough to hold the light without being blinded by it. Embrace your melancholy, let the rain fall, and watch how your soul begins to bloom in ways that the sun alone could never achieve. Your sadness is not a defect. It is your gateway to a more authentic life.